हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the dhyana shloka. मौन व्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानम् वसिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हरि Om. We'll chant the shlokas which we have seen from the beginning. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivod bhutam yatha nitraya यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोध समये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगेव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैवं स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यत् साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाछिद्रघटोदरस्थितमहादीपप्रभाभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभाते तत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्ता वृषंवादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहाव्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हरि Om. So we are studying this beautiful text, Shri Dakshinamurty Stotram, which has only 10 shlokas. But in these 10 shlokas, Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya Ji gives the very essence of the teachings of the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. So in the beginning itself, Bhagwan does namaskar to the Guru, who is that Supreme Self in whom exists this world. The world is not different from the Self. The whole world is expression of this Self only. Due to ignorance, I don't know my own self properly. So, with the blessings of the teacher and the teachings of the teacher, using this Mahavakya, the teacher teaches, Tattvamasi, I come to understand myself as that supreme Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Atma, the Shuddha Atma, Turiya Atma, is also called Brahma, Shuddha Brahma, is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Jnana Swarupa. So that Jnana Swarupa Atma alone expresses through the senses and the mind and makes them capable of knowing. So they get this ability to know, to feel, to perceive due to the presence of that Supreme Self. But this ignorance is so strong, which is anadi, beginningless, and ananta. Many infinite jivas, they have this ignorance, because of which there is all confusion. Actually, ignorance itself is absence. It is absence of that knowledge that I am Brahma. But that absence gives rise to a lot of misunderstanding. So not knowing myself properly and not knowing this world properly, it gives rise to various misunderstandings. And those misunderstandings create sorrow and suffering in our life. So here in this fifth mantra, fifth shloka, Bhagavan says that people have various types of misunderstanding about their own self. Deham pranam api indriyani api chalam buddhincha shunyam viduhu. There are those who consider this physical body as their self. Then there are those who consider the life as self. Then there are those who consider the indriyas as the self. Then there are those who consider the antakarana as the self, the buddhi. And there are those who go to the extreme wherein they say that there is no such thing called self and there is no such thing called world. Everything is just a zero, nothing exists. So because of this bhranti, because of this confusion, we identify with this body and consider the body as myself. So if the body, depending on the gender of the body, person starts considering himself as Stri, a woman, or a Purusha, a man, or depending on the age of this body, one consider oneself a child, a grown-up person. Also identifying with the quality of the senses, one consider oneself blind, deaf, or having sharp senses. Then there are those who identify with the intellect and the quality of the intellect and consider themselves as bright, intelligent, dull, dumb, jada. So all this identification happens about the false notion about the self. So Stri, Bala, Anda, Jada, Upamastu, Ahamiti, all this we take as ourself. Each one has got their own subjective delusions, and they consider themselves as one of this. So aham iti bhranta. And this notion is due to delusion only. It is a false notion. Whatever we consider ourselves to be is just a notion, just a belief. People, they talk big about believing in God, and those who don't believe, they consider themselves sometimes more intelligent. But people have not only beliefs about God, but they have different beliefs about themselves, which are even stranger than beliefs about gods. So it's a bhranta. And they hold on to these beliefs, bhrusham, very firmly, and also argue for and against all these beliefs. And very strange actually that there are hundreds and thousands of varieties of these beliefs. If you just, even if you take as a sample any 2% of this world, their beliefs will not be same. It may appear similar, but it is not the same. Everyone has got their own subjective confusions. The supreme reality is one, but the confusions regarding the supreme reality are many. In each one of us, we hold on to a different confusing belief. Just like in a circle, the central point is only one. But in a circle, there are many points, there are infinite points. And all these points are not the center. The central point is only one. Similarly, the truth is only one, which is like a center. But all the false notions are many, infinite. So here Bhagavan gives a sample of them. And what causes this? The cause for these faulty notions is avidya only, not knowing myself as I am. And because of that, I have these wrong notions. So, when I come to know myself properly, I will come to know this world also as my own expression. This world which we see is, as we have seen in the earlier verses also, is expression of my own supreme self, that supreme Brahma. So the Maya Shakti Vilas, this whole world is indicated here as Maya Shakti Vilas. Maya is the Shakti of that supreme self, and this expression of that Maya is indicated as Vilas, the play. The entire creation is like the play of Maya, Maya Shakti Vilas. And Maya is not different from that Paramatma. It is Bhagwan's Shakti only. Ishvara Shakti alone is called Maya. So whether we call this whole world the play of Maya, or we can also call it the play of Ishvara. So in the Puranas and all, this whole world is indicated as the play of Ishvara, Bhagwan's Leela. Leela means a play. Even great saints also describe this world as the play of Chit, like Sant Naneshwar Maharaj calls this Chid Vilas. The whole world is play of Chit. Chit is that Brahman, the Sat, Chit, Ananda, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So the whole world is the play of that Chit. So Maya Shakti Vilas. But when we don't understand this Vilas, when we have this ignorance, then what happens? Then we come up with various kalpana, various types of imagination, various types of notions. When we don't know, then we come up with variety of theories. That is the very nature of our intellect. intellect wants to have that knowledge. When we don't have proper knowledge, then we come up with various theories. And the more fertile our imagination, the more variety of theories we create. Even in the field of science, they don't know how this world has come into existence. We keep watching this world. Our instruments of watching this world has become more and more sophisticated. Recently, we have sent a beautiful telescope in space, the James Webb Space Telescope, which can take sophisticated pictures of this world. Even pictures of things which are lying far, far away. But however much we look at this world directly with our eyes or with some instruments, still it remains very mysterious. We cannot really understand. So when we don't understand, we come up with various theories. So in the field of science also, variety of theories are there. And when some other scientists come, they negate the previous theory and come up with a new theory. So during Newton's time and all, we had our own theory about how this world is. Before the people considered the earth as the center and everything is revolving or moving around the earth. Some people even believe that the earth is flat. Even now there are a lot of people who believe the earth to be flat. Then they came to understand that earth is also one of the planet, and it is also moving around the sun. I'm talking about the progress which was done in the science which we understand now. Otherwise, all these things are mentioned in our Vedas and Puranas and all. Then they understood this whole galaxy itself as this world. Then the great scientist Hubble, he came to understand that there are other galaxies. This is Milky Way, just one galaxy. There are other galaxies outside. And there are thousands of galaxies. And they are all retreating away from each other. Then they came up with a theory that once upon a time the whole world was at one point only. Singularity. From where the whole world expanded. The Big Bang. So these are all theories. Various theories are there in the field of science regarding the world and regarding our own self. The field of psychology also, they keep talking about our own self, how it functions, what is the nature of our behavior, why we behave as we behave. So various scientists are there, they have their own theories. Freud has got his own theory. Carl Jung has got his own theory. So theories are there which keeps on shifting, changing, because we don't know exactly what is what. The truth is not known, so we come up with theories. Similarly, this play, the whole world is a play of that Bhagwan only, Bhagwan Shakti, Maya. But when we don't know this, then we come up with various kalpana. So Maya Shakti Vilasa, Kalpita. In this Maya Shakti Vilas, we imagine variety of things. So all this are our own fanciful imagination. The confusions are our imagination. The world is not our imagination. The body, the mind they are not our imagination. But the confusions which are there in our buddhi are all our imagination. So Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Mahavyamoha. And this Kalpana has created great delusion in our own intellect. Mahavyamoha. And however much we try, the delusion doesn't go. We drop one theory and pick up another theory. But the delusion doesn't go. Only when we surrender to an enlightened teacher who guides us based on the great Vedas, then all our delusion will go. And such a great teacher is Sri Dakshinamurty. So he samharine, he destroys this delusion. So to that Sri Dakshinamurti, my namaskar. Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam. Sri Dakshinamurtaye. See, once we have this ignorance, we have different types of these delusions. They are also predictable. The different types of confusion which we have, they are also more or less same. See, suppose like mathematics. Suppose I ask you, how many prime numbers are there between 1 and 100? There are 25 prime numbers. And they are fixed. Even in the beautiful mantra Chamakam, these prime numbers are mentioned while doing the stuti of Bhagwan Shiva. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, etc. They are all prime numbers. They are fixed. Between 1 and 100, if there are 25 prime numbers, there will be 25 prime numbers only for all times to come. Similarly, there are fixed and same type of confusions which are there. Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya, he removes all this fixed type of confusions. In modern times, some of these confusions, they have their own names. They have their own founders. They have their own followers. Later on, some other person may again discover the same type of confusion. And that person might become the follower or the leader. But the confusions are there. So let us try to analyze this few of these confusions. See, when we observe, when we come up with our own experience, there are certain things which we are quite sure, or maybe we are not very sure. So in the field of this philosophy also, there are those who start from the very one extreme. If you ask them, what is the reality of everything? What is the truth? They say there is no truth. Everything is bakwas. Sab kuch bekar hai. Nothing makes sense. Everything is just nothing. Shunya. So that is one extreme possibility. And that possibility is even there now in modern times also. There are people who follow this possibility, believe in this possibility, that everything is zero only. This world which we experience, it is just illusion. According to their philosophy, their thinking, their belief, this world is just illusion. You cannot really say that there is a world outside. It is just in our mind. We we believe that there is a world outside. We say that there is a mountain, there is a tree, there is a river outside, but really speaking, everything is experienced only in the mind. That there is a world outside is just in your thoughts, in your thinking, it's in your mind. Just like in a dream, there is no world outside. The whole world was created in my dream, in my mind only. The mind only creates the world, the mind only creates the one who is experiencing that world. So there is no world outside, it is just my mind. This is a philosophy. A lot of people believe in this. This is called Vijnanavad. That the objects in the world is not outside, it is just in my thoughts. But then, what about the mind, from where it has come? They say the mind is also an illusion. The mind is also an illusion. Mind is also not there. World is not there, but if you are seeing that world, it is just in your mind. But what about the mind? Mind is also not there. Mind is also an illusion. It is just something which is appearing. So it is the illusion, mithya. Okay, if you say world is mithya, mind is mithya, what about I, who am experiencing this world? I am also not there. So as long as there is this appearance of this mind, there is appearance of this world, and there is appearance of myself. After some time, this whole thing will just disappear and nothing will remain. There is nothing which is the basis, there is nothing which is the substratum. Everything is shunya. This is called shunyavad, zero. This is one extreme. Like mathematics, the whole thing starts from zero. So there is this philosophy which also starts from zero. Nothing is there. Kuch nahi hai. And the very strange thing is that there are people who are following this, believing in this, and striving very hard to become nothing. Empty. So the practice of meditation also is like empty your mind. Don't have any thoughts. Just become zero. Sab kuch chhod do. Shunya. Meditate on one hand clapping. Nothing is there. But however much we may try to negate the world or negate the mind by saying it is not there, not there, not there, it will not disappear. It doesn't disappear like that. If you stand in front of the mountains and say that there is not, mountain is not there, the mountain will not disappear. You will get tired, then you will rest for some time and again continue with your meditation. That mountain is not there, world is not there. So it's called shunyavad. And lot of Vedanti also mistakenly think that Vedanta is also talking in the same language. But they only say that world is mithya, but I am there. Main hu. But that is also not the proper understanding of the teachings of Vedanta. The Jagat is mithya, but I am Satyam. So Shunya, zero. That is one end of the spectrum of confusion. Then there is this one where they believe that the world exists and I also exist. So this is, you can say, those who believe in matter, the science The modern science also believes in Advaita. But according to them, Advaita means non-dual, only one thing is there. And what is that one thing? Matter. According to modern science, everything is matter only. Even what we call life, or the one who is experiencing this world, is also expression of matter. So as I had mentioned that according to science, the whole world at one time was just concentrated in one point. Even space, time, and all objects were extremely, infinitely dense and concentrated at one point, which is called singularity. Because now when they observe the world, they find that all the galaxies are moving away from each other. So if you just trace it back, then once upon a time, everything was together. Even space and time was confined in one tiny little point. That's called the singularity. And 13.5 billion years ago, something happened, and that one point suddenly expanded into this vast world. That is what they call Big Bang. Big Bang doesn't mean it made a sound, but it spontaneously expanded. Why it expanded, what are the reason and all, they don't know. What triggered that expansion, they don't know. And it expanded into vast space in which there were these tiny little particles which then came together to form the atoms of helium and hydrogen. Then again they came together due to gravitational pull and all, something like that. And they formed stars. And this hydrogen, helium started burning in those stars, and they became more and more condensed. And more heavier elements started forming. And the stars, they started consuming all this. And when there was nothing to consume, when iron was created, suddenly there was this star didn't have anything more to consume, so it blasted into supernova, and all these structures got spread up everywhere, and they came together to form various planets. This is what science is saying, and I am just expressing what little thing I have understood from that. So our sun, whom we see every morning, that our sun also formed few billion years ago. And around this sun, the whole material were moving, and they came together to form the various planets. And from the sun, the third planet, our own beautiful Earth, also came together 4.5 billion years ago. But it was very hot, then it cooled down, and suddenly one fine morning, life emerged. They don't know how. All some chemicals and all were there, and suddenly, that is the theory of science. So life happened, and slowly that life evolved from a single cellular creatures to complex creatures, and they keep growing. More and more complex beings were born. Even the dinosaurs were born. Then they got killed in some meteorite or asteroid strike. Human beings then came on Earth some 2 million years ago or something. And so many different mutations and all happened. And recently we had this pandemic, and now we are in these modern times. So all the living beings which are there on earth, according to science, they are also expressions of matter. So the whole world is nothing but matter. Matter and energy. Energy and matter are both are one only. Mass and energy. E is equal to mc square and all. So according to science, everything is matter. So science also believes in Advaita, but not Advaita as revealed in Vedanta. But according to science, everything is matter. And as long as this body is there, the expression of this life is there, and once the body gets destroyed, life also just disappears. So materialistic total view. Our scriptures also talk about such views were there, the Charvakas and all, who believe that we are just the body, matter. As long as this body is there, we are there. Once the body dies, everything, we just disappear. But slightly more evolved theory than the Shunyavad, at least they believe in the existence of matter. Then there are those who say that everything is not matter. The one who is aware of matter, one who is knowing this matter, one who is seeing the matter is different from matter. The seer must be different from the seen. The knower must be different from the known. So there is matter and there is something which is sentient, which is different from matter. So they came up with this theory of two, that there are two realities, matter and that which is, because of which there is sentiency. So matter they call Purusha, and that one who is sentient is called, the one who is sentient is called Purusha, and matter they call it Prakriti. So the Sankhya philosophy, they talked about two, Prakriti and Purusha. Both are what you call two categories, both are real. And Purusha is not one, there are infinite Purushas. So even a tiny little ant is a combination of matter and that Purusha. So that sentiency which is there in this ant, because of which it is aware of the surrounding, the one who is aware of that surrounding is that Purusha, and the matter is Prakriti. So this theory is there, this philosophy is there, this vision is there of Prakriti and Purush, that the whole world is just expression of Prakriti and I am the Purusha. And somehow I have identified with this Prakriti, and that is the cause of my sorrow, according to Sankhya. So all my sorrow, suffering is because I am holding on to this Prakriti. They have their own detailed description and explanations of everything. So if I want to become free of my suffering, I should withdraw from this Prakriti. I should detach from Prakriti. Then I will become free of all my suffering. And the practical sadhana to detach from this Prakriti is given in the philosophy of yoga. So yoga is just the practical application of the theory of Sankhya. So in yoga, the sadhana is given how we can become free of our identification with this Prakriti. Prakriti is also real, I am also real. The problem is I am holding on to this Prakriti, so I should just give it up. So how it happens? Why am I holding on to Prakriti? Because of ignorance, I am holding on to it. Because of my desires to enjoy this Prakriti, I am holding on to it. So through proper abhyas and vairagya, I can become detached from Prakriti. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. So Patanjali Yoga Sutras talk about the complete sadhana of how to become free of this Prakriti. अथ योगानुशासनम योगश्चित्तवृत्ति निरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे अवस्थानम्. Like that it talks about the whole sadhana, that when the chitta becomes very quiet, then the drashta, the purusha, get detached from this prakriti. So that is the philosophy of two. Two means they consider two categories, prakriti and purusha. But purusha is not one. According to them, there are infinite purushas. As many bodies are there, so many purushas are there. They don't go into explaining how, from where this prakriti has come. It is there from infinite past, it is always there. And these purushas are also always there. दोनों मिल गए हैं, उनको separate करो, बस. Let prakriti be there and you just get detached from prakriti. That is their philosophy, that is their thinking, that is their opinion, that is their belief. And that is the belief of all those who pursue that path. Then there are those who say that there are no two categories, there is a third category also. So they bring in one more category now. They say Purusha is there, Prakriti is there, but this Prakriti kahan se aa gayi? Who has created this? This world which is there, which is expression of this Prakriti, from where it has come? There must be some cause for it. I am not the cause. I did not create the mountain, the rivers, the sky, the moon, the planets, the galaxies. So from where they have come? So they bring in a third factor called Ishvara. So they said that Ishvara created this world, this Prakriti. And Ishvara created all the Purushas, the Jivas also. So there are those who believe in three categories. I, the Purusha, is also called Jiva. This world, which is Prakriti, is also called world, Vishwa, Jagat. And the third category, Ishvara, who is the creator of this world and creator of all these Jivas. So this is called the Dvaita. They also have variety of categories in them. So they have their own understanding about that Ishvara, what is its nature. How he creates this world. And also the relationship of Ishvara with the world. Some believe Ishvara is different, world is different. Some believe Ishvara and the world are same. Some believe Ishvara is different and all the Jivas are different. Some believe Jivas are part of Ishvara. So there are combination, permutations of these various, these three categories, which make up the different types of philosophies. Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, Bheda Bheda, and all different types of philosophies are there. Wherein they tell the combination permutations of these three categories. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. That is also really not the ultimate truth. Then comes our Vedanta, the Upanishads. The Upanishads say that it is true that world is there. It is true that so many jivas are there. And it is true Ishvara is there. All these three categories they accept. World is there, jivas are there who are infinite, and Ishvara is there who is one. Ishvara is one only. All these other devtas and all are mentioned, they are all different varieties of jivas only. They are just given the name Deva, but they are all jiva. Even Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are jivas. They are Hiranyagarbha. They are also jivas. They also have a lifespan. Ishvara is one only. Many people not understanding our Vedanta properly, they come up with different misunderstanding. So Ishvara, Jiva and Jagat. Vedanta also talks about these three, but these are three. Vedanta says that this appears to be three, but they are really one only. The Jagat is not different from Ishvara, and Jiva is not different from Ishvara. That Ishvara is that supreme Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, who has got power which is called Maya. So Brahma along with his power is spoken of as Ishvara. And through this power only that Brahma alone appears like this world and appears like all the beings. So the world, Ishvara and all beings are nothing but that one supreme Brahma only. That is called that Advaita. Therefore it's called Advaita. Advaita means not two. Not two doesn't mean that world doesn't exist. Not two doesn't mean that jivas don't exist. Not two doesn't mean that Ishvara doesn't exist. Not two means that all of them are one Brahma only. Just like when we see different ornaments, there are 100 varieties of ornaments are there. The 100 varieties of ornaments are not denied. But then the person comes says that all these are nothing but gold. All these are gold only. That's called Advaita. Everything is one gold. Similarly, Vedanta doesn't deny everything. Therefore, the word Sarvam is used everywhere. You will find in all the Upanishads the word Sarva. Sarva means all. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman. Sarva, that word is used. Sarva means all. All means this world as well as all the beings. Or everything is that supreme Brahma alone. That's the Advaita. Advaita Vedanta, which is the ultimate truth. So, I, world, and Ishvara, when the relationship is not understood among these three, then different types of philosophies are born. Like mathematics, different categories are born. They will always be there. People will come and disappear. The earth, what you call the life which we know at present, the history which we know is just 1,000 years old or 2,000, 5,000 years old history. 5,000 ago, the Mahabharata war was fought. Before that, we don't know much about history. Before that, Ramayana was there. But the whole this earth, after some time, this all humanity might just fight with each other, get destroyed. Then again, from scratch, the evolution will happen. And again, these Vedas will get expressed. Vedas are eternal. And the different types of confusions will get expressed again. Therefore, if you go to different satsangs, and especially if you attend some question-answer session, you will find people asking the same type of questions. Same type. And therefore, same type of answers are also given to them. And there are some variety of people who fall in love with their own questions. So they go to various different satsangs and they ask the same question to different Mahatmas. They ask the same question. स्वामी जी, ये मेरा प्रश्न है, आप प्लीज उसका उत्तर दे दीजिए. कितने सालों से मैं ये लेकर बैठी हूँ या बैठा हूँ, अभी तक किसी ने जवाब नहीं दिया. बहुत लोगों को पूछा. So you also add some confusion in their head and they again go back with their question. So the number of confusions and the variety of confusions are also limited only. I mean, they are also predictable. And the most beautiful thing about the whole thing is that the Upanishads clear all your doubts and give convincing knowledge, like mathematics. You can't go wrong. 2 + 2 = 4. Like math. And the precision in which Adi Shankaracharya ji has written this Bhashya is another mathematical expression only. There is not a sentence, not a word which is wrongly expressed. Therefore, if we study Upanishads and we study Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya, then no other support is required. In fact, other support should not be taken, otherwise it will create confusion. See, sometimes we go to listen to some music program, a great singer is there, and we are sitting in the audience listening to that singer. Sometimes you will find an irritating person sitting next to you. And that person also starts singing along with that singer. You must have experienced. I have experienced many times. So you want to listen. Lata Mangeshkar is singing, let us say, or some classical Bhimsen Joshi is singing. And the other fellow with a very wrong tune and wrong swaras, their family members must have told him, "Arey, tu bahut acha gata hai." So he sits there and starts singing, and you want to hear the original. And this thing comes into your ears and spoils the whole thing. In the same way, the original teaching which is there in the Upanishad is conveyed in the beautiful singing of Adi Shankaracharya. You have to just listen to it. But when we listen to some other bhashya and other text and other theories and philosophies and all, they are like people singing along. with bad swaras. So Tika, Tippani and other Prakarana Granthas, they create more confusion. Vivek Chudamani, Tattvabodh, Atmabodh, Dhritisya Vivek, Panchadashi, this, that. So many texts are there. They create more confusion only. They are not by Adi Shankaracharya. So listen to him in his purity and the whole thing will become clear. So Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharine. People have different kalpanas about this Maya Shakti Vilas, which creates different types of Vyamoha, delusion. And that delusion is eliminated by Dakshinamurty Bhagwan. Actually, Dakshinamurty Bhagwan himself, as Adi Shankaracharya is speaking. Dakshinamurti is avatar of Lord Shiva. Adi Shankaracharya is also avatar of Lord Shiva. He is doing stuti of himself and speaking. He himself is speaking. Great mystery, great wonder. So Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurti. He is doing namaskar to himself. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. More about this we will see in our class on Wednesday. Today is actually Swami Paramananda Bharatiji's Aradhana day. Whatever I am teaching you, most of it I have learned from Swamiji. The right understanding of Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya I have learned from Swami Paramananda Bharatiji. So I express my great gratitude to Swamiji on this day and pray to him that may his grace and blessings be always on me and all of us. We'll just do namaskar to Swamiji. Om Shri Paramananda Sadgurave Namaha. 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 Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat. We will meet again on Wednesday. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. And we shall meet again soon. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boli Siya Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.